All right, I want to welcome you all to Ready to Take Control. Are you guys ready? All right, well, I love that you're here early. We had a number of people that got on nice and early. In fact, Fan was on at 10:30. I love that enthusiasm very much. Okay, we have got 2 hours that we are here to serve you. And I really want you to be fully present while we're here today. This is designed to really help you take your results to another level, help you to get unstuck if that's where you are. You know, Roddy had been inspired to do this event. It was his idea, so we can all thank Roddy. And Roddy, like, Kayla, who's part of the Dynamic Destinies team, firmly believes that we are here to serve people. And that is really my philosophy as well. So Roddy had mentioned a couple of weeks ago that in January, there's this special day that they call Quitter's Day. And Quitter's Day is sort of received its designation because so many people quit. They quit on their goals and they quit before they're 3 weeks into the month. And we're 3 weeks into the month as of today. And so it was Roddy's inspiration to deliver to you an event to help you not quit. Now, will you feel like quitting? Of course. Will you feel like quitting even when you're winning? Yes. It's not unusual to feel like that. It's part of the duality of us being humans. But we're here as a team, Dynamic Destinies, we're here as a team to serve you. And our mission is to help you live a better life, to live an extraordinary life if that's what you desire. But it's a team effort, meaning we're going to do our part, but you have to do yours too. So one of the things that I love is I love seeing videos open when we're doing our calls. I know right now you're probably looking at mostly me, but if we can look at the view of the gallery version and seeing your beautiful smiling faces is always so enlightening for me and inspiring for me as well. So I love it when your videos are open. I also encourage you to take some notes, write down some things. And I've got some quotes that I'm going to be sharing with you today. I created a brand new presentation, as I always do. And I'm here to serve you in a way that I know can inspire you. Now, will it? That's up to you. It really is up to you. So while we're going through this 2 hour period, I'm definitely going to address questions. And if you have any questions as we're going along, type them in the chat box. Kayla and Roddy will both grab them and they'll share them with me, and where I'm happy to be interrupted and to stop and address those questions. I may be addressing them a little bit further on as well. So we have a lot of spontaneity and flexibility with our event here today. I do have a presentation that I'm going to go over to and share with you in a moment. We're going to go through that. It is going to be interactive. I'm going to be asking you questions as well and asking you to write your answers in the chat box. And then, of course, I'll share with you something new and something very exciting that we have for you. And so we're going to go to the presentation right now, and we're going to start here with you being ready to take control of your life. Now, on this particular slide, one of the things that we have, hold on one second here. I just want to make a change to what's on my screen. There we go. All right. So one of the things that we have on this first page is one of my own quotes. And this is a quote straight out of my brand new book. And this book is called The Moment of Creation. And it's going to be coming out this year. I don't know when yet. I actually have been asking my publisher to let me know what our release date is for this book. I believe it's the best book I've ever written on the subject. But this is a quote from there. Your breakthrough begins the moment you choose to face fear, for on the other side lies the life you've been waiting to create. You see, a lot of people are waiting. They're waiting for something to happen. They're waiting for some kind of a windfall, or they're waiting for somebody to do something or someone to show up and things like that. And that can be a very challenging experience to be involved with. Or they're in a place of overwhelming fear, and they're fearful that if they try something and it doesn't work, they could be in a worse position. Or they're feeling overwhelmed already, so even the thought of doing something is not even on their radar. And I want you to just take in some deep breaths right now and relax. And if you could just relax right here, right now, and know that you do have the power within you to create anything that you desire. It's absolutely there. And my job is to bring out that power to show you the way. And so that's really a part of what we're doing here today. So, what is the one thing that's going on in your life right now that if you could change it, like if you wish you could change it, you would change it? What is that one thing? I want you to type this in the chat box right now. What is the one thing in your life you wish you could change right now? And just be honest, there's no judgment, absolutely zero judgment of any kind whatsoever. It could be your finances, it could be your income, it could be your health, it could be the way you feel. It could be your relationship. It could be where you're living or how you're living. It could be any number of things. So let's see what we're getting in the chat box here. All right. Beliefs. Okay. Good. Good. All right. Let's see. Okay. We've got a couple. Mindset. Be financially free. All right. Good stuff. Beliefs. My finances. Find out what I'm truly called to do for people. I like that, Diane. That's nice. Be financially free, be more disciplined, ability to make new friends and acquaintances, finances and belief, my income, where I am living. All right. Fear of trying something new, fights end. Okay. Finances, disciplined. Okay. A career I love doing every single day. I love that one, Lynn. That's a good one. Income, my finances, get a divorce and finances, get unstuck. Discipline, financially free, living on purpose, the way I feel about myself sometimes. Okay, that's good. I like that. All the shares so far. Okay, I like that, Sarah. Good for you. Expand my business, says Lukey. I would increase my momentum and get back on the phone. I never had this problem before. Okay. It's an opportunity, not a problem. Meeting wonderful people. Oh, went right off my screen. That fly in the same wave as me. All right. Well, you're definitely in the right place for that here, Sandy. Okay. My first $1 million profit. I like that. Impact 1 billion lives for the better. Ooh, I like that. You're really thinking big. Number one, agent, attraction person. I love that. Okay, good. I see that for you, Joan. Purchase my own 4-room penthouse apartment, Elizabeth. I love that. I see that for you. Let's see, to stay in the knowing. Okay, great. What does momentum mean? Okay, Ubu is asking that question. So Kayla or Roddy, can you hold that one? I'm going to definitely get to that one in a bit. That's a great question. So what is the one thing in your life you wish you could change right now? I love it. I love that you're very aware of that. It's very important to be aware and non-judgmental at the same time. Now, the truth is you can change every part of your life if you wanted to change every part of your life. I've certainly done that myself, changed every part of my life. But it's important to know. It's very valuable to know, because I think about if a ship went out into the ocean and it was just sort of meandering around and had no direction, where's it going to land, right? Nowhere, probably up against the rocks. And so this is a part of why it's very valuable for you to make some decisions on what you would love. As Roddy had mentioned before we even started our event today, he was asking, my favorite question is, what would you love? What would you love? What would you love? And here's a truth that I really want you to understand. When you think about what you would love, whether it's a 4-bedroom penthouse or whether it's to earn the kind of money that you would love to earn, whether it's $1 million in profit, whatever that is, you do have the ability to do that. Now, you won't know how, and you don't have to know how. And that is the wonderful part of manifesting with great ease, is you do not have to know how. It is the greatest lesson that I've ever learned in almost 50 years of studying this. But imagine if you woke up tomorrow morning and you had everything that you desired in your life. Okay, just play with me for this one for a moment. What would be the first thing that you would do if you woke up tomorrow morning and you had everything that you desired in your life? What would be the first thing that you would do? Type in the chat box. This is going to be fun to see the answers to this. Would you book a cruise? Would you, sign up for something? Would you, do the thing that you've wanted to do for many, many, many years? There we go. Juanita, I like that. Okay, good. Book a trip around the world. C. Turner says, I would say thank you. Yeah, I like that a lot. Now, that's significant, what she wrote there. Very significant there. Sharon says, wake up feeling so blessed. Love that. Find a new mission. Play all over the world with friends, says Lynn. I like it. Pay off Holly's condo, says Holly's mom. That's very sweet of you. Meditate. How did it happen, says Mario. All right. Now, that's an interesting answer there, because if you did wake up tomorrow morning and you did have everything that you desired, wouldn't you want to know how that happened? Of course. That's a great idea. Am I great? All right. Say thank you. Say thank you for my perfect health, says Diane. I would say thank you to the universe, says Ubu. Pay off all my debt, my family debt, and then take an adventure together. All right. Redefine my goals. Okay. Run to the beach and scream and then go see the northern lights. I like that, D. Thank the universe for teaching me. Oh, I love that, Sarah. That is a beautiful answer. That's a highly evolved answer. All right. And Joan's going to purchase a property in Tobago. I love that. Travel to see some of my ill friends, says Anne. That's sweet. Share my results with others to show that they can do the same. Wow. That is a really great answer, Alina. I love that. We'll book a holiday trip overseas, says Lukey. Wouldn't be able to stop smiling, says Regina. Now, there are some answers here I'm going to just expand on, but that is one of the most powerful answers right there. Strike a pose and be grateful. Yes, thank you. Thank you, universe. I love that. Come see you for sure. I love that answer. There's my favorite one right there. Yes. All right. Good stuff. Feel the gratitude. I'd feel so grateful. I'm grateful and happy. Give thanks for my beautiful dream home. Beautiful. Donate to my 3 charities an enormous amount of money to change the lives of thousands of people who need food and water. Wow, that one brought tears to my eyes, Jill. I love that. I would wake up grateful and blessed and help others. I'd shout, smile, be grateful. Be a Hollywood film producer, says Susan. I like that. After thanking the universe, be grateful that Peggy aided me in my grateful life. Yes, Sarah, I love that. And I look forward to aiding you in your wonderful life. Eva, I would already be taking cruises, be in my new home, and a popular published author. So my answer is just to smile and be grateful. Teach my children how to manifest and be grateful. Okay, good. These answers are amazing, are they not? I love them. Okay, so could you do that now? Could you do that now? Smile? Yes. Could you feel the gratitude now? Yes. Now, there may be some things on there that you might not be able to actively do, but could you? Now, listen to this. This is a very important question. Could you act as if you did have everything that you desired and start looking for the flights to go to the other parts of the world? Or could you start looking at the real estate market to look for that penthouse or look for that house in Tobago? Yes, of course. You see, when you take action, and that is going to be the big message in today's event, it's going to be about you taking action, but not just any action, the right action. Okay, the right action that's going to contribute and lead you to the results that you desire. And so doing things like waking up and smiling is a powerful thing to do. Why? Because when you're smiling, what's happening in your body is you're releasing chemicals, you're releasing endorphins that sends a signal to your brain that you are happy. And when you think about the things that you want, whether it's income or a home or travel or whatever, it's not so that you have those things. It's because of the way it makes you feel, right? Ultimately, the things that you desire in your life is designed, or they're all designed to cause you to feel a certain way. So when you are actively feeling as if it's in your life right now, you are in the moment of creation. And that's what my new book is all about. It's the precise moment where intention becomes reality because you've accepted it as your own. You've accepted it as your reality in your life. Now, are you pretending? Of course. Of course. You're pretending, you're acting as if. However, the feelings must feel genuine. And if they don't feel genuine now, through consistent effort, through disciplining yourself to choose to feel that way with regularity, builds the belief within you. That is how it's done. That is exactly how it's done. So who is here and why did you join here today? Because you're done with waiting. You're really done. And I know it's the 3rd week of January. We're into a brand new year, but you really decided that 2025 is going to be your banner year, your best year ever. How many of you have decided that? I'm going to stop sharing so I can come over and look at your faces and see. There we go. Okay, C. Turner. Yes, yes. All right. Lots of enthusiasm there. I like that. iPad 2. Yes. Okay. Not sure what iPad 2's name is, but yes, I love your enthusiasm. That's great. Type in the chat box, if you have decided that 2025 is your best year ever. Okay, great. I love it. I love it. Okay, super. Good, good, good. This is awesome. I love it. Now, I would expect that of everybody that's here, that you're all here for that reason, right? Now, here's the thing that's very fascinating. Why would somebody not answer yes to that question? I'm serious. Why would someone not answer yes to that question? Type in the chat box why you think somebody would not answer yes to expecting that 2025 is going to be their best year. It might not be you, but why do you think others? Yeah, exactly. Lack of belief, fear. It is my best year already. All right, great. Attitude, awareness, that definitely not enough belief in themselves. Yeah, fear of success. That's a good one right there. In fact, I wrote about there's a chapter on the 20 blocks, the things that block you from success in my new book, and that's one of them, fear of success. And why would fear of success even be there? Because they're afraid what it could do to their life, but they're thinking negatively. Yeah, or they're convinced it's not for them. They haven't felt the bet. Okay, Pat says 2025 is my best year ever. I love that. Now, how many of you are willing to accept that for yourself, that 2025 is going to be your best year ever? Type in the chat box just a simple answer, yes, or I have, or me, or I am, or whatever. And I'm expecting to see 88 answers in the chat box right now because I can't imagine why you wouldn't want this year or wouldn't accept this year to be your best year ever, right? Yeah, of course. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Definitely a good, good. I demand it. Ooh, I like that, Selena. Good for you. This is excellent. It is magnificent already. I'm done waiting. Oh, yeah, I like that. Anybody else done with that? Like fed up? Maybe? Yeah, okay, good. All right, Jill. Thank you. I love the honesty. Thank you, C. Turner. C. Turner, what's your first name? Or do I just call you C? Do you go by C? I've seen your beautiful face on Connie. All right, great. Am I saying it right? Connie, Conie. Okay, good, good. All right, thank you. Oh, with two N's. Okay. All right, perfect. All right, Connie, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm done waiting too. You see, when we get to a point of dissatisfaction, I want you to get excited about that. And the reason is because I heard this statement back in 1981, dissatisfaction stimulates growth. Dissatisfaction stimulates growth. It's like when you're not happy with the way things are, it is usually an inspiration to get you to change it, to fix it, to do something about it, right? So, oh, thanks, Ubu, for letting me know you don't have a camera. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Okay, let's go back. I love all the participation. You guys are awesome. We're really enjoying this participation here today. This is wonderful. You are wonderful. Okay, now if we could help, and I'm talking about we, meaning the Dynamic Destinies, that's me and my team. We have a new member of our team today. I'm going to introduce you to him a little bit later on. His name is Roger. Roddy, Kayla, myself, Roger. If we could help you go beyond today and truly live an extraordinary life, would you like to hear about it? Just hear about it. I'm not talking about you have to do anything. Would you like to hear about that? Type in the chat box if you'd like to hear about that. Let me look at the answers that are coming in. Okay, good, because I've got something brand new that I'm going to share with you a little bit later, but I'm going to relate it to the content of today's presentation because I'm going to show you an example. All right, one of my own examples of something that I've done. Okay, good. I appreciate that. Okay, so there are three main reasons. Now, there's probably plenty more than three, but I want to talk first about the three main reasons because I love to simplify things, right? I want to solidify it so that you understand, so that you can avoid these things, so that you're in control of your life. So the three main reasons why people are not in control of their life. So are you interested in finding out what they are? Well, I'm assuming yes, you do because you're here. So here's number one, complete lack of direction. So complete lack of direction does not mean that you have determined what all the steps are to get to where you want to go. That is not what lack of direction means. It means you haven't decided where you want to go. It means you haven't decided what you would love to experience, how much you would love to earn specifically. You see, the universe loves it when you're specific. So when we saw things like Joan had shared with us in the chat box to own a home in Tobago, is that specific? Yes. It's brilliant. It's perfect. And when we saw, I believe it was Elizabeth who mentioned about a 4-bedroom penthouse, purchasing a 4-bedroom penthouse, is that something specific? Yes, of course. So do they have direction? Yes, they have direction. And so those, let's say other people that are probably not here in this room don't have any kind of direction. They don't know where they want to go, or they may be at a place where they're thinking, I'd really love to feel better. What does that really mean? What does that really mean? Does it mean that you wake up in the morning like we saw earlier, where you're smiling because you know that you're financially set for life? You're financially free. You never have to work another day in your life if you don't want to. You could. It's where I'm at in my life right now. I could show you how to do it if that's something that you're seriously interested in. You see, when you understand you are such an incredibly powerful being, and what I love to do is go within and pull out that power so that you can direct it. So that you can direct it by making decisions. Kayla was talking about that before we started today. Making decisions, committed decisions is what she had mentioned earlier. You make a committed decision that no more are you playing small. No more are you going to be sort of lackadaisical about what it is that you want to create in this life. You see, life is a very precious thing. And what we don't know is how much time we have. We don't. Like, I know there's an abundance of money in this world. I really believe that. That's something I believe. I didn't believe it years ago, but I certainly believe it today. What we don't know, I don't know, you won't know, is how much time. How much time do we have? How much time do we have on this earth? We're birthed, we're brought to this space, but some people depart a lot earlier than other people, and then some live long, 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 long lives. A friend of ours was over last evening, and his mother turned 101 on her last birthday in November last year. And she's in great shape. And I asked, his name is John, this friend of ours, his name is John. And I asked John last evening, I says, how's Betty? That's his mom. And I love his mom. When she comes up to town to visit, I want to see her. Sometimes they bring her over here for lunch, or they'll bring her to the cottage. And we always have a lovely visit with Betty. And she is fascinating. She has all her faculties, and she'll tell you stories for hours, and they're all really interesting. And she has a lot of wisdom, and I really love and respect her. And so I said, how's Betty doing? And he said, she's great. She's really loving living in the retirement home. So at 100, she moved out of her own condo into a retirement home. Now, she still has her own separate place, but she goes downstairs for meals. And he says she plays bridge every day. She's one of their top bridge players. And when she had her 101 birthday, which was last November, they had a big party at the facility. And her sister, who was about to turn 104, just passed away. And her other sister is turning 100 in May. So good genes in that family for sure. But nonetheless, here she is, 101, on her way to 102. She bathes herself, dresses herself, she can feed herself. She's mobile, like she's walking, talking. She's got all her faculties. And so she is very obviously, a woman who is living a very healthy life. Now, did she set that as a goal for herself? In fact, she did. She decided that not only was she going to live a long, healthy life, but she was going to live a full life as well. So, one, lack of direction. The second one is feeling stuck with current results. And this is a big one. This is a really, really big one. And I'm certain there are people that are here right now that are going to relate to this one. And this is where we hear the teachings or the suggestions to stop looking at present results or to deny the evidence of the senses, right? It's stop looking at your bank account, stop looking at the debt load, and remain emotionally involved. But for many people, they find that challenging. It's tough. What do you mean, stop looking at my present results? I'm not saying ignore your present results. I'm saying that when you remain emotionally involved, see, that's the distinction right there. Provided you're remaining emotionally involved in your present results, and by being emotionally involved, meaning you're frustrated, or you're feeling fearful, or you have doubt, or any other negative, destructive emotion, that will keep you stuck. It'll keep recreating more of the same results. I think about when Bob Proctor used to tell the story about his uncle. And his uncle had been visiting Bob around Christmas time one year, and his uncle was telling Bob that he had to go and buy all these Christmas gifts for his family, and that he was, I don't know if he was upset or whatever, but he knew that he had to put it all up on his credit card because he didn't have the cash to buy all these gifts that he wanted to get for his family members. And Bob said, why are you doing that? Like, why do you keep recreating the same scenario every year? And he says, well, next year's going to be different. And Bob said, no, it's not. And he didn't say that to be rude to his uncle. He was saying it because unless he's doing something about it, he's likely going to stay stuck. Some people live their lives like that, feeling like they're stuck, or that it's their circumstances or their situation and that they have no control. That's what we're here to talk about, right? No control over that. So when one is feeling stuck with current results and they remain emotionally involved with those results by being upset by it, by being disillusioned by it, they will continue to recreate more of the same. And of course, that's not what you want to do. And then the third reason is unwilling to do anything about it. It's like, well, it's just the way it is. It's like the lot in life. It's what the creator has, set for them. That is their destiny. That's what they believe is their destiny, that they have to struggle or they have to suffer. And now I know what happens here is that a lot of people think, okay, well, I'm willing to do something about it, but I don't know what to do, right? That can also happen where people think, I'd love to do something about it, but I simply don't know what to do. And that's okay. You don't have to know what to do, but what you do is you get aligned with what you desire, which will take us to the next part of our webinar. And that is the willingness to get out of control. So if you can relate to any of those scenarios that I've just described there, then your life is out of control, not from a judgment point of view, but simply from an observation to be aware. Because then when we have the awareness to notice that our life is out of control to some degree, then and only then can we do something about it. That's when we're going to make a decision to do something about it. And so how many of you have made a decision you're doing something about it? Let's see in the chat box. How many of you have made a decision you're doing something about this? You're done with the frustration. Yes, okay. You're done with the dissatisfaction. You're done with the lack of whatever that is. You're done with the struggle. Yes, okay, good. All right. Now, how many of you recognize that I'm going to go into the way that we can get in control, but how many of you have recognized that I've already given you the answer? How many have recognized that? Yes, okay, good. I'm glad you caught that. All right, good. We're going to get into it more deeply in the next few minutes. Okay, that's fine. No worries if you didn't. You see, this is another one of the challenges. This is why I'm asking the questions if you're open and if you're ready, because if you're not going to hear it, right? You're not going to hear what I have to say, or you're not going to see what the answer is. But when you're open and ready, now, is that surrendering? Is that welcoming? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, now I get it, says Michelle. I love it. Yeah, however long it takes is however long it's going to take. Like I began studying in 1979, and I remember one of my clients asked me one time, she said, okay, so you began studying in 1979. At what point did you become a millionaire? I had to think about that. And the truth is, it's like the gentleman that you may have seen or heard about the story. He was laying on a park bench, or he was homeless, and he ended up creating a fortune and became very, very wealthy. I think about the movie, The Pursuit of Happiness. That's a story about a guy who was homeless. He was out in the streets with his young son, and yet he became a very, very successful stockbroker. And so the question was asked, like, at what point did you become successful? And he said, I was successful when I was laying on the park bench. So what does that really mean? It's like with me, I was successful long before I saw the evidence. Why? Because you embrace it now. You feel it now, even when there's no evidence of it in sight. And that's part of what's required for somebody who is in control. That leads to the second point. So we're gonna get into that a little bit more here. So obviously, what I shared with you are the 3 reasons why people are out of control is going to be the opposite of how people are in control. And that is that you have goals that really inspire you. And there's no judgment in that either. Like I remember at one point sharing something with my mother. Now, my mother wasn't into the study. She wasn't in the materials, and it's not a strike against my mom. My mom basically had a different awareness. Now, I developed my awareness because I got into the study and invested in myself and invested in program after program after program after program, and still to this day continue to invest. And so I remember, sharing with my mom some of the things I wanted to do, and she was very upset by that and very judgmental. And I wondered why. Like, why are you so upset? And she goes, well, if you have that, it takes away from somebody else. It's like, no, it doesn't. You see, that was her belief. That was just simply what her belief was. It's like, if I have this, I can help more people. I can contribute in greater ways. Kind of like what we saw in the answers about contributing to charities that are close to your heart. That's what I do. I love supporting the children's hospitals, not just the one here in Ottawa, but in Toronto as well. They're my favorite charities, are any children-related charities. So could that be a goal that you're donating a certain amount of money to your favorite charity? Sure. Would that inspire you? Maybe. It certainly inspires me. It's something that I'm inspired by. And you can have as many goals as you want. It's not just one. You could have 180 goals if you want. There's no limit. You see, that's the thing that we have to understand, which is rarely talked about, and it's certainly not taught in schools, is that we can have anything that we desire. There's a lot to it in order to manifest it, but we can have anything that we desire. But it starts with accepting it as yours by demanding these goals into your life. So you ask yourself the question, what would I love? And then you do not allow your current level of thinking to prevent you from declaring that as a goal. So if you think, well, I would love to, as we saw Sandra's comment there, paying off debt, helping the family members and doing all these other things, etc. Those could be wonderful goals, like wonderful goals to have the funds. Now, I wouldn't set a goal to be at a debt. I would set a goal to have the funds. So what I would suggest, and I'll tell you why, but what I would suggest is determine how much money, and this is how you would do it. So if you're thinking you've got some debt right now and you'd like to get rid of it, and at the same time, you'd like to have your bank account filled to whatever that means for you, to capacity. And maybe, like we've heard in some of the answers and the responses from today, you want to give to somebody else or give to a charity or give to your family member or whatever. You just sit down with one of these, a pen, and you calculate. Well, how much would that be? Okay, so if it's the mortgage is this and the credit card's that and the loan is this and the car payment is that, list it. Okay, and you want to give how much to who? Okay, list that. And then you're going to come up with a number. Now, I would also, add on, because you want to have some money in the bank, like whatever that is, money in investments. So you're going to come up with a number, right? Some kind of a number. And so could that be the goal? Absolutely, that could be the goal. Could you have more than one money goal? Definitely, you could have more than one money goal. You could have a goal to have a certain amount of money in your investment account. You could have a goal to have your personal net worth to be at a certain rate. You could have a goal to be earning like continual income, regular income. That could be a goal. You could have a goal to donate a certain amount of money to a charity that you appreciate. So yeah, you could have a variety of different financial goals as well. But the goals that you set must inspire you. But remembering, you don't have to know how, and you will not know how. You won't know how you're going to get there, but you set the goal. Now, I can show you how to get there. And the only prerequisite is desire. So I want to talk about that a little bit more later, because I had a feeling there's going to be some people here who are very focused on the money earning side of things, which is perfectly fine. It's a very, very healthy goal to have. In fact, it is one of the most popular types of goals that there are in the world, and that is financial goals. The second one is, and this is important too, and you remember when I talked about the blocks and the reason why people feel they're out of control, and is because they, keep looking at, they're not willing to, be emotionally involved in what they want. And you have to be relaxed. You have to relax in the knowing that what you desire is already yours. I would write that down. I am relaxed in the knowing that what I desire is already mine. I am relaxed in the knowing that what I desire is already mine. Now, when you think about that statement, I am relaxed in the knowing that what I desire is already mine. How does that feel? If this were true, and let's imagine it is true, that you do have everything that you desire, how would you be feeling? How would you be feeling? Type in the chat box. How would you be feeling? Blissful. Yeah, I like that. Okay, good. Jill did the exercise earlier. Good. She came out with a number. Perfect. Relief, says Connie. I like that. Peaceful, grateful. Love it. Exhilarated. Yes. Grateful and happy. Elated and grateful. Ecstatic. Relieved and grateful. Grateful, very grateful. Relieved. I like it. Empowered. Yeah, that's a good one. I'd love myself. Beautiful. Okay. Good. Amazingly grateful. Relaxed, grateful, joyful, relieved, energized. All right. Truly joyful. I love that. You see, when you are relaxed in the knowing that what you desire, that invites in these positive and powerful emotions. It invites them in for you to feel them and feel them now. And you just did that when I asked the question, how would you be feeling? Right? You see, this is part of your power that you access. Now, what sometimes people do is they access it for just fleeting moments, not consistently. You want to have this way of being your dominant way of being. You want to feel relaxed more often than you're feeling fearful or doubtful or overwhelmed or some other negative destructive emotion. And so how do you go, like I would think that this would prompt this question, how do you go from feeling like totally fearful and all consumed in debt to relax in the knowing when there's no evidence of it in sight and when you have no clue how you're going to get there? How do you do that? How do you do that? I'm going to ask you guys. I'll tell you how, but I'm going to ask you as well. Right. Yeah, change your thinking, change your focus, imagination, study. Yeah, okay, all good answers. Use your imagination. Definitely, definitely, yeah, change your paradigm. Now, the changing of the paradigm means that you're going to be involved in repetition, right? The belief. Use the power life script, Sarah says. Yes, she's absolutely right about that. Staying on the wish fulfilled, definitely. You want to reside there. You want to get there and reside there. Right. What would I love, says Roger. Oh, good. Roger's here now. Wonderful. Okay. Daydream for sure. I love that, Julie. Definitely. Mindset change. Absolutely. In order to have the mindset change and to have your paradigm change, there has to be consistent action. This has to be something that you're doing with regularity. Because what did I say earlier? It's your dominant way of being that's going to produce the result. Meaning that it doesn't mean you're not going to feel fearful at some point or feel doubtful or maybe feel concerned. It's that what you want to be doing is taking your attention away from that and putting your attention only on the results that you desire. That's why this 4-word question is so powerful. What would I love? What would I love? What would I love? What would I love? And if you need to ask yourself that question and answer that question 100 times in the next 30 minutes, do it. Do it. It's like Bob used to say, you're trading your life for it. You're trading your life for it. You see, you're creating or destroying every day. Now, how do you know if you're creating? What's your dominant way of being? If I asked you up to this point in the day, excuse me, and I know for some people it's later in the day than it is for others. If I asked you, what has been for today your dominant way of being, what would you say? Would you say it's been mostly doubtful, fearful, worried, concerned? Okay, all right. Good, happy, all right. Good, good, good. You don't even have to answer that. Abundant, sure. Now that's trusting, okay, good, good, full of joy. Yeah, reside in faith. I like that. Excited, living in the moment, productive and sorting my finance and happy with the result. Good. I like Selena says, I choose to reside in faith. Yes. Okay. Well, this is what you want to be doing. Now, how do you know? How do you know if you're actually feeling relaxed all day long? How would you know? I'm going to ask you guys that question. How would you know? Yeah, you feel, yeah, start to see the results. You might not see the results right. Yeah, you feel good. Absolutely, Lorette, by how you feel. Exactly. That's the answer. Yeah, exactly, Lynn. Yes, those are the answers that I was looking for. My feeling is calm, wholesome. I'm able to focus. Awareness. I like that answer by Ubu. I'm able to focus. You see, what happens when people are out of control, they're not focusing. They're not focusing clearly. They're certainly not focusing on what they want. Elizabeth says, breathing slowly and deeply. Breathing slowly and deeply. This is so profound. And I want to talk about an exercise that I have added to my new book, The Moment of Creation. And so in this book, I talk about something called breath anchors. So I'm going to give you guys a little sneak preview to what that is. So breathing is something that you're doing all day long, right? Well, you wouldn't be here if you're not, right? So we're all breathing and we're not thinking about it. I'm not sitting here at 12:40 in the afternoon and thinking, oh my God, am I going to be breathing at 3:15 today or at 4:57 this afternoon or at 8:18 this evening? No, you're not worried about if you're breathing. You're relaxed. You don't even think about it. It's because it's an automatic thing, right? Now, I know it is a part of our physical body, but what I wrote about in the moment of creation is since you're breathing anyways, which we are, thank God, since we're breathing anyway, how about if we use it for our good? How about that we become aware when we're breathing and we choose to notice that I'm going to choose to do some breathing exercises right now. And as I breathe in, I'm going to accept my good. And as I exhale, I'm going to give thanks for my good. I'm going to breathe it in. Feels so good. Yes. And I'm going to exhale and release it now. Let's do that together as a group. I'm going to go to a gallery view here right now. I'm going to stop my remove from spotlight so I can see all of you in the gallery view. Let's do that now. Okay. Think of something you would love to have happen. Okay. Have you guys got something? Yes. Okay. Now let's breathe in and accept it as our good and release it with gratitude. Breathe it in, accept your good. Oh, it feels good, does it not? Yes. It's a simple awareness exercise for you to embrace your desires, knowing that they are already done. Now, you may have to remind yourself to do your breathing. I call it breath anchors. Breath anchors. Now, what I like to do is when I'm laying in bed in the morning, when I wake up in the morning, I do my meditation. I listen to my audios. I'm usually doing that for a couple of hours. But now what I'm doing just before I get out of bed is I'm doing my breath anchors. I'm accepting the good in, I'm releasing it. And then throughout the day, as I'm walking around, I'm consciously thinking about that. You remind yourself, right? But as I said, we don't have to remind ourselves to breathe. We're going to breathe. It's an automated way of being. We're already breathing. We're in the habit of breathing. I just want you to use something that you're already doing for your good. So breath anchors, how many of you feel that breath anchors would be something valuable to do anytime you find yourself getting out of alignment? Yes, okay, good. All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, we got a couple questions here. How do you meditate without falling asleep? You know, that's a good question. It's okay to fall asleep when you meditate. It is actually okay to fall asleep when you meditate because you're totally in a relaxed statement as well. I love that. Okay. Palash says, in Power of Awareness, chapter Free Will, Neville says that we don't need to do anything. Oh, this is such a good chapter to discuss. I'm definitely going to get to that. Can you guys grab that question? This is brilliant. I love that. I love that I love talking about that particular section too, because a lot of people are confused by that. So I think it's amazing that you brought it up. I've got the book right here. So I am absolutely going to address that question. It's a good one. I'm going to stop in a few minutes and address some questions because I know there's three, at least I'm aware of three that I've seen already. We're definitely going to get to some of these questions, but I want to finish up this one little segment before we go on to that. So let's go back to the PowerPoints. So you're relaxing the knowing. Okay, now the next one is what I had said earlier is a big part of what we're talking about today, and that is you take action, right? Action. And so action means that you're doing something. Now, here's a question that I get asked often. Okay, Peggy, so you're telling me that I don't have to know how to get to where I want to go, and I likely won't know how to get to where I want to go, but how do I know what to do? Well, part of the doingness is feeling relaxed. Part of the doingness, which is action, is setting the goals. Part of the doingness is ensuring that you're aligned most of the day. That is all action. And you're likely not doing it habitually unless you've disciplined yourself to do it habitually. And I do know we can all get better. I mean, there's some people on this call that are really good at this stuff already. There's some people here that have been in my programs for years, but we can all get better. And, Bob used to say better is a good word. Now you are either getting better or you're getting worse. And so you really want to be focused on the side that's going to produce better results. And that is taking action. It's taking action. I want to share with you an example of that in a minute as well. Now, do you believe it's a big leap or too big of a leap to go from being out of control to being in control? I'm just curious on this question, actually. Do you believe it is too big of a leap to go from being out of control to being in control? I'd like to see what your answers are to this question. Let's see what they are. No. Okay, good. Good. I wasn't sure what you guys were going to say. That's good. Beautiful. Yeah, you're right. It only takes a decision. Not at all when you're disciplined. Definitely not especially not when you have the guidance. That's right. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, guys. I had a feeling I was preaching to the choir today. Okay. The truth about control is it does come from within. It is something that you have control of. You have control of the way you think. You certainly have control about the way that you feel. And what I teach, and many other teachers as well who have been on this planet, Neville Goddard, one of them, is to understand that. I feel that when you understand that, you'll recognize that you don't have to go anywhere to get anything. That what you do need to do is have the awareness to know how to tap into the power that's within you. And that really is the key. Is the key that unlocks everything. I remember in 1985 when I started a study with Louise Hay, and she said, everything that you need is within you now. I didn't understand it at the moment, but I understand it now very well. And so you don't have to go anywhere to get anything. You have everything within you to create the life that you desire. I'll show you the way, but the power is already there. You see, the moment you stop waiting for control to come from the outside and instead start acting as the person who is already in control, everything changes. Your beliefs are going to drive your actions. That's part of your paradigm. That's where the beliefs are in your subconscious mind, and your actions will create your reality. So action is definitely a part of success. It's an important part of success. So you have to be willing to roll up your sleeves and do some work. And I'm not talking about hard work or laborious work. I'm just talking about work, right? Doing some things. And I want to share with you an example of something that I decided to do 10 days ago. In fact, it was only 10 days ago. And hold on one second. I want to get to a particular slide here to show you something specific that I have been working on, and just want to make sure I get exactly to that slide. Let's see where we are. There it is. Okay. Now, I still have more slides, so we're going to go back and I'm going to share with you a lot more content in a little bit, but I'm going to share with you this particular slide. Oops, hang on here a second. No, that's not what I want to do. Stop sharing. Let's get the slide on the screen. And then we're going to, there we go. Well, that's interesting. Okay, I have it now. All righty, let's go here. So 10 days ago, I received an email in my inbox, and this email was a renewal from GoDaddy. And I don't know, a few hundred domain names. I used to have a lot more. I had close to 1,000 at one point. I believe it's an addiction that I'm going to a group to get help on. I'm just kidding. I need a group to get help on. I love registering domain names because they're all based on ideas. So I got this idea, and the domain name, I got an email basically saying the domain name is being renewed. And the domain name that I have is See Thin, Be Thin. And so it came out for renewal, and I saw the renewal, and I was thinking, maybe I should do something with that. And so what I decided to do was to write a book. Now, this was not in my plans. It was not in my agenda. I'm a pretty busy gal. I've been creating a lot of content for a couple programs, and I've got client meetings. I mean, pretty busy. And so the idea of adding another assignment to my list was maybe not necessarily something that I was, crazy about doing, but I decided to act on it anyway. And as a result, I want to share another screen with you. I received this yesterday, and this is the book, See Thin, Be Thin. This is it here. It's already done. I've already written it. This is the table of contents. There are 7 chapters in here. It's already been designed. I had a gentleman that I use for my design work already do it. And as of this morning, I want to show you something else. I just want to get the screen open here. As of this morning, it is in my account, in my Amazon account, in review. So it's already been submitted. So in a matter of hours, this will become another source of income. Now, why I wanted to share that with you is I want to show you how you can move fast on ideas, like really fast on ideas. You see, here's what happens when you have determined what it is that you want to have or experience in your life, and you get in alignment with that outcome, you're going to get the ideas. They're going to come into your consciousness. You're going to get an email. Someone's going to say something, and then bam, you get the idea. You get the idea. That's because you've taken the blinders off. That's because you've become open to the ideas and you're ready to receive. It's like Napoleon Hill's quote, like no one is ready to receive abundance until they decide that they're willing and ready to receive it, right? You must be willing to receive it. And then you get the ideas. How will you know if it's a good idea? Sometimes you might not, but here's how I suggest you know. Trust your intuition. Your intuition is going to tell you. It's going to guide you. I just felt this was a really important book. I sent it to Kayla last evening and she read it. In fact, it's not a big book. It's a relatively short book. It's only about, I think, 56 pages or something like that. But can you, upload a book and sell it on Amazon as a physical book and it's only 56 pages or 50? Yes, absolutely. But here's the other thing. That book has in it, at the back of the book, a recommendation for their next steps, and that is to join a program. So could this book become not only a source of income, it can become multiple sources of income because it's a physical book, it's a paperback book. We're actually getting ready to upload the Kindle version of it as well. There's another source. I can record it in audio, and I can do it with my little microphone that I have here on my desk. I can do it right here with QuickTime Player, which comes with my laptop, record it in audio and get it up on Audible as well. And so there's 3. And then in it, it promotes a course, one of my programs. There's 4 sources of revenue, right? 4 sources of revenue. That's from idea to end result to creating a source of income in 10 days. Now, there's so much more to do. In fact, I reached out to someone earlier about, ideas for promotion. I made a connection this morning of a collaborator that I know would absolutely be well aligned with promoting this. There's endless ways that you can take these ideas. And that's part of this new offer that I'm going to share with you in a bit. It's called Author Revenue Engine. And the Author Revenue Engine is for anyone that wants to create a source of income. You don't have to be an author. You could be if you are, that doesn't really matter. You could be an author as well, but it's how to create revenue from ideas. Now, obviously, I'm an author. I have 25 books so far. I've got books that are lead generators, books that are hardcover, trade paperback, audiobooks, Kindle books, books that have generated millions of dollars in revenue for me and for my business over the years. I have books that promote programs that I have. And I just want to show you how you could do that as well. How many of you are interested in that kind of an idea? Yes, Eva, I see your hand. Just type in the chat box. Yes, okay, good. Good, good, good. All right. Already doing that. All right, good, good. Okay, I am. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So this is what we've come up with. It is something brand new. It is called the Author Revenue Engine. And I like using domain names that say what the programs are or what the offer is. That's why I registered C Thin, B Thin. That's why I have the momentofcreation.com. I have all these .com domain names because it makes it easier when you're on a radio show or you're doing something. You say, just go to authorrevenueengine.com and you will see what it is. And what we're also going to do is for anyone that's interested in finding out whether this is the right fit for you, we can certainly give you an option to meet up with Roger as well. He's our newest team member, and we're going to talk about that in a little while. So this is the Author Revenue Engine. Now we're doing something a little crazy. I think it's crazy. The first 10 people that register are going to get 4 hours of exclusive one-on-one mentoring with me. Now, why I decided to do that is I really want to inspire you to move into action now. And we're going to change that. So for the next 10 days, when you sign up for this program, you get 4 hours. After that, after February 1st, the offer is going to include 2 30-minute sessions with me. But 4 hours, and this is where we're going to work together. I'm going to go through, I'll give you an idea if you don't have one. Certainly, I'm an idea machine. That is something that I'm very well known for. But how to take that idea and expand it into potentially something that could be earning you endless amounts of money for, endless amounts of time as well. When I think about the many sources of income, someone asked me that one time, how many sources of income do you have? I really don't have any idea. Many, 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 many. And that's one of the wonderful things about working online. Like no matter where you are, there's 6 billion people on the internet today. And it's a $1 trillion industry. We're talking about the information industry. And being an author means you're an infopreneur. But not everybody is. Not everybody's enjoying the benefits of, earning the kind of money that only people dream of. I've been in the 1% income earners and the top 1% of 1% income earners for many, many years. And up until January 6th, I didn't even have a degree. Actually, that's not true. No, I got my bachelor's and I got my master's and I got my doctorate. But prior to, a year ago or a couple of years ago, I didn't have any education, any formal education. So I just want you to know that it's possible. It doesn't matter who you are or where you are. It's absolutely possible. And I want to show you the way. That is my intention. Now, I do have more slides to share with you, and we're going to go back to that in a minute, but I want to stop and take some questions as well. And I'm going to introduce you to, thank you, Diane. I'm going to introduce you to Roger in a little bit as well. And so Roddy put the link in the chat box if you want to check out both the Author Revenue Engine and or book a call with Roger, because he's happy to meet with you and talk to you about what we feel might be the right fit for you. There's no obligation. The only thing that we ask you is this, is that whenever you book a call with us, is that you show up. Like if you book the call and we're going to give you our time, we're going to be there, and it takes time away from our family, whatever, and we've got a wide variety of times that are available. Kayla's willing to meet, Roger's willing to meet. So we'd really love it if you would, be so kind as to show up. Okay, so the first question that was asked was a question, in the very beginning, Ubu asked the question, what does momentum mean? Momentum. I love this question because when we think about what we're talking about here, having the control in your life and, getting on track and getting the results that you really desire, what you do is you build up a momentum. right? It's like you're conditioning. That's why I created the mind conditioning mastery program. Roddy, if you don't mind, put in the chat box mind conditioning mastery program too, because I created that program probably with the obvious understanding by the name, mind conditioning mastery, so that you create the momentum, which means that you put yourself on what's called the trajectory for success. It's like this statement right here. My success is absolutely guaranteed. Well, your success is absolutely guaranteed. It's true. Your success is absolutely guaranteed. But in order for you to experience the success, you have to believe that it's already here right now. You have to do that consistently, as I talked about earlier. It has to be your dominant way of being, which means that you create a momentum. Because what we do not know is this: we do not know how long it takes for us to manifest our goals into reality. So when that client of mine asked me, how long was it before he became a millionaire? It was years, but I never gave up. Most people give up. Most people give up. In fact, in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, I'm pointing over to my bookshelf there. He says many people quit when they're 3 feet from gold, as he shared the story about the gentleman that owned the gold mine, and he quit when he was 3 feet from gold. So don't quit. You got to keep going and struggle. Yeah, it's just a part of it. It's not like a seamless, easy ride, right? You're going to have challenges. You're going to wake up some days and you might feel defeated and you might feel good one minute and you might not feel good the next. But when you're conditioning yourself, like I've held up this little wood sign here a couple of times. What would I love? What would I love? What would I love? Like this is a way of getting into the momentum, but staying in the momentum. Yeah, you'll get off track, but you put yourself right back on track. Just like a servo mechanism. You see, a servo mechanism in missiles means that when a missile is locked on a target, even if the target deviates, the missile will just keep adjusting until it hits it. Same thing with autopilot. When autopilot is set, when the button is pushed, there's an assumption that it's just on track and staying on track, but winds come up. I mean, it gets pushed off. You've got to put back on. Get, elevation. There's all kinds of issues that are occurring with an airplane. My husband was a pilot, and so you have to trust. You see, when he was in the cockpit of the airplane, and he was the commander of the airplane, and he was flying. He was in the military for 30 years, and he used to fly our prime minister. But when he was there, he was telling me the other day, because we were chatting as we were driving, and my husband has a little bit of a challenge concentrating on having a conversation in the car while he's driving. And I said to him, I said, I find that interesting because you were a pilot. Like, being a pilot when you're in a cockpit, there's a lot going on in the airplane, right? And yet we're in a car, and he has a hard time having a conversation while he's driving. And he said the reason is because when he would sit in his seat and they were getting ready to take off and taking off, they were not allowed to talk. They're not allowed to talk. I didn't know that. Did you guys know that about pilots? They're not allowed to talk. They are not allowed to engage in a conversation, nor are they allowed to do it when they're landing either. They have to zip it and focus. And thank you for that, right? We certainly want our pilots focused when we're in the back of the airplane. And so, yeah, is an advantage for pilots, I can imagine for sure. Okay, so there we go. That's momentum. Okay, now the next question is with regard to the power of awareness. And in the chapter on free will, and I'm going to open that chapter right now. It is chapter 21. It's actually in Awakened Imagination. I think it's in the back part. Oh no, it's in the Power of Awareness. Okay, so this is what Neville says, and I think it's such a brilliant chapter, and it's certainly a brilliant understanding as well, to really understand, what does this really mean? What does it really mean? Because there are many people that have been confused. When I first read it, I thought, what? Okay, so here's the chapter. Here's what Neville says. The question is often asked, what should be done between the assumption of the wish fulfilled and its realization? His answer is nothing. It's like, what? It is a delusion that, okay, so here's what he's saying, and this is important you understand that. It is a delusion that, other than assuming, okay, so he's not saying nothing, because you have to assume. Other than assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you can do anything to aid the realization of your desire. So yes, there is something you have to do. You have to feel as if it's already here now, right? You think that you can do something, you want to do something, but actually you can do nothing. The illusion of free will to do is but ignorance of the law of assumption upon which all action is based. He didn't say there's not going to be any action. He said all action is based on the law of assumption. So what that means is when you are aligned, meaning you feel the wish fulfilled, you feel as if it's in your life, you'll get inspired with what action to take. Like when I was inspired 10 days ago to act on see thin, be thin, and I moved into action, I felt an inspiration to do that. Why? I don't know. Maybe the book's going to take off. Who knows what's going to happen with it? You see, everything is happening automatically. This is the part we don't see. Okay, this is the strange and wonderful part. Earl Nightingale talked about this as well. Strange and marvelous things will begin to occur, right? The moment you decide to get aligned with what you desire. But those strange and marvelous things, we don't know what they are. We don't know what's happening as well. You know, I think about when in 1995, I purchased a home and I had no earthly idea how I was ever going to pay for it. That's what I did. So what should be done between the assumption of the wish fulfilled and its realization? I went and I bought the home, right? I felt as if I owned it, didn't know how I was going to pay for it. But the law of assumption means that you assume it's already yours. You assume it's already yours. And then bam, strange and marvelous things will begin to occur with constant regularity when you stay aligned. You have to stay aligned with the outcome. So your assumptions, conscious or unconscious, now if they're unconscious, it's because you've impressed them into your subconscious mind. They direct all your thoughts and actions. That means you'll get led. You'll get the ideas. They will direct all your thought and action to the fulfillment. So to understand the law of assumption, to be convinced of its truth, means getting rid of all the illusions about free will to act. He's really saying you can't force it. You can't force things to happen. You allow them to happen. You allow them to happen by accepting that it's already done and then acting on the ideas that do come to you. That's what it really means there. Okay, another question here from Regina. I'm trying to manifest a big goal in a short amount of time, but I feel discouraged because so far I've never manifested anything this big. And my reality shows no signs of it happening. Do you have any advice on how to deal with situations? Absolutely brilliant question. I'm in love with this question. Thank you for asking this question because there are other people that may not have had this question, but they're going to benefit from the answer to this question. Okay, so first thing is a goal is neither big or small, only thinking makes it so. That's what Bob used to say, right? A goal is not big, it's not small. If you think it's big, it's big. If you think it's small, only thinking makes it so, right? Stop thinking it's a big goal, right? If you accept the law of assumption, right? If you accept this as a fact, right? This is how you use your imagination. In fact, there's a chapter in this book, very close to the one on free will that we just read, that speaks to this as well. And I'm going to go there right now because this is such a valuable understanding that I know you're going to benefit from. This is a chapter called Failure. Okay, the time it takes for your assumption to become fact, your desire to be fulfilled, is directly proportionate to the naturalness of your feeling of already being what you want to be, of already having what you desire. Let me read that again, and I'm going to explain it further. The time it takes for your assumption to become fact, your desire to be fulfilled, is directly proportionate to the naturalness of your feeling of already being what you want to be, of already having what you desire. So were you to have it, would you feel frustrated? No. Were you to have it, would you feel discouraged? Absolutely not. So do you have any advice on how to deal with this situation? Go to this place in your mind where it's already done and do it now. What we don't know is how long it's going to take. That part we don't know. Like when I purchased that home in 1995 and I had no clue how I was going to pay for it, I did have a date that I had to take the money to the lawyer to close the deal, right? I had a close date on the deal. I didn't know how long it was going to take. That felt fearful, but I also knew this. If I'm feeling fearful, I am not aligned. If I'm feeling fearful, I'm certainly not feeling like it's a fact, right? I knew what I needed to do. This is exactly why I started asking myself this question. This is where that question came from. My 1995 experience of buying a house without any money, because I felt an enormous amount of fear. I mean, there were things that were going on in my mind like, what the heck have you done? You've lost your mind. You've gone too far this time, Peggy. Like those kinds of things were going on in my consciousness. And I wasn't telling other people what I was doing because I didn't want to hear their words either. Now I know I have an opportunity to let it in or not let it in. I didn't want any of it. And so what happened was started working for this company that was an internet startup company. That's why I set up my website in 1995. We were the very first company to offer dedicated internet access. This is when people started to set up their World Wide Web websites. I mean, it was exciting. It was exciting times. But nobody knew where it was going to go or how big it would be, or the expansion of the World Wide Web. I mean, it was all new. It was foreign. And you know how people are with technology. They don't like it, right? People don't necessarily like change. And so I'm working for this company and I was given the opportunity to buy shares. I didn't know what that meant. They were having something called an IPO, initial public offering. I don't know what that is. And so I went and did a little research. What does it mean to buy shares? And are they restricted? Can I sell them? Like I got a house to pay for. And so I had to reside in the fact. This was a fact. It was already done. Was it going to be this way? I don't know. I don't know if that's where the money's going to come from. You won't know where it's going to come from. I didn't know where it was going to come from. But all the while I had to reside in the knowing this is already done. It's already done. I already have it. This is mine. That's what you have to do. Advice on how to deal with it. Get out of that energy fast. It's destructive. Discouragement is destructive. Overwhelm is destructive. Fear is destructive. Doubt is destructive. We don't want to be there. I'm not saying you're not going to feel it. I feel it. Just switch. How do you switch? Ask yourself the question, what would I love? 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 I said that an hour ago. Like if you have to ask yourself that 100 times in the next 30 minutes, do it. Do it because this is where you condition your mind in a new way. This is where you condition your mind. Like I've had enough of that. I've had enough of the struggle. No more. I think about in my book, The Demand Principle, there's a quote, one of my favorite quotes, and I've used this quote many, many times. And it's a quote by Napoleon Hill. And what he said is this: no more effort. Let's think about these words, okay? You may have heard this before, but think about it today. No more effort is required to aim high in life, to demand prosperity and abundance than is required to accept misery and poverty. No more effort? Listen, you're thinking anyway. You're feeling anyway. So turn your effort to good. Turn your effort to the attention on what you desire as if it's a fact in your life right now. Now, on the next page of that chapter on failure, he says, how? And the answer is use your imagination, right? Use your imagination. This is all, I noticed Roddy just put the mind conditioning mastery link into the chat box. This is probably the most powerful program I've ever created for the mindset. Roddy's nodding his head. Naughty is rotting his head. Got my merds wixed. All right. Okay. There we go. Regina, does that answer your question? Okay. Alina is asking, I'd love to ask about receiving. What universal law governs it, and how can we tap into the feeling of being open to receive? Could you also share a practical exercise to help align with this state? Yeah, this is a good question. And which law? There's a number of laws. The law of cause and effect will have you receiving. The law of compensation will have you receiving as well. And what's fascinating, I love getting questions, by the way, I really do. Thank you so much for asking the questions because they're all very valuable, and it inspires ideas, certainly inspires other people as well. And so, a practical exercise, I've already given it, right? Like it's getting aligned. It really is feeling like your wish is fulfilled. So receiving, and this can be a challenge, like I know for myself, like when I went through a divorce in 1994, and that's why I bought the house in 1995, because I wanted to get a home for my son and I, for Michelle and I. And when I went through that time, I realized that a big part of the challenge that I had been having with relationships was receiving. So, Elena, I can totally understand with what you're talking about. I know a lot of people struggle with this as it relates to money or success or acknowledgement and things like that. And there's the reason why it can be a challenge is because of beliefs, right? Like where the current beliefs are. And for me, the challenge that I had was I didn't believe I was worthy of love. So if you don't believe you're worthy of love, or you don't believe you're worthy of success, or you don't believe you're worthy of abundance, you will push it away. You'll block it. You might have it come into your life, but you'll likely send it away. They call that sabotage, right? Sabotage. And so it's certainly not what you want to do. So the law of cause and effect means you give out good, you get good back. And this is one of the reasons why I love working with entrepreneurs and authors. And that's what the author revenue engine is all about. It's like when you put good out into this world, you will receive good back. In fact, I have a slide here, and I'm going to pull it up. This is from one of my classes. And I was teaching this class. Let me just hit escape there. Oh, I want to find my PowerPoint presentation there. Oops, I just closed my PowerPoint presentation for today. That's okay. I'll bring it back. No worries there. Okay, I want to pull up a slide because this is very relevant to what the question is that's being asked. And I know everyone will benefit from this. So let me share my screen. This is right out of one of the author revenue engine classes that I taught. And this is a little segment from the great book called The Secret of the Ages by Robert Collier. And so here's what he said. Do you want more money? Money, you must remember, is merely a medium of exchange. It is the equivalent of so many hours of labor, so much skill, so many ideas. Your mind is possessed of unlimited ideas, and any idea of service to your fellow man can be turned into money. Since your mind is part of universal mind, there is no such thing as limitation or lack. Somewhere, somehow, the ideas that shall bring you all the money you need for any right purpose are available to you or for you. Totally available. It's $1 trillion industry that I teach people to get into. You have but to put it up to your higher self to find these ideas. Have utter faith in its willingness and in its ability to do it. And then when the ideas come, you act upon them. All right, so your mind is possessed of unlimited ideas. There's no limit to what you can do. And any idea that's of the service to your fellow man, that's really what I wanted to focus on. When you have an idea that's of service to your fellow man, you'll be compensated. That's why the law of compensation decrees. The amount of money that you will earn will be in direct proportion to the need for what you do, your ability to do it, and the difficulty there is in replacing you. Now, what Bob Proctor used to say is focus on number 2, your ability to do it, right? Get really good at it, right? And so, like being an author nowadays, I did a class also in there. There's a bunch of different classes, and a class on how AI can help you. Like we have artificial intelligence is a part of our reality now. It's not going away. You may like it, you may love it, you may whatever, you may have whatever feeling you have about it. When it started to come around with things like resources like ChatGPT, which is about 2.5 years ago, I dove right in and I was madly in love with it. It's like, wow, this is so incredible. And the reason why I love it so much is because how it can help. How it can help you help another, right? How it can help me help another. It can help you get things done quickly. It can help you with your marketing and with your promotion, with expanding on ideas. I mean, there's no end to how it can help you. And that's what I teach. So there's a couple classes in the author program where I show how to use AI to help you with expanding on your ideas, or even to come up with ideas for that matter. And so there's no end to where you can go. And so a practical exercise for really being ready to receive is seeing yourself already in possession of whatever it is that you desire. Excuse me. Let me just take some water here. When I think about the things that I've manifested, anything, from the home to my relationship with my husband. We're now 20 years in. He's a gift from God. He is my lottery win. That's what I tell him all the time. It's like I won the lottery of love when I attracted this man into my life. He's incredible. I feel so blessed to have him. Going for my doctorate, my New York Times bestseller, the business that I run, the success of the business that I've been running now for over 30 years. We just celebrated our 30 years in business. I'm using what I teach every single day. Every day. Ask Kayla. She's my daughter-in-law. Yes, we serve together, but she's also my daughter-in-law. We work together as well. And she knows that I practice what I preach. This is my life. So you've got to be doing these things, these practices every single day in order to produce the results that you want, which means you determine what it is that you want and you get aligned with the outcome. You have to feel as if it's here now. It's in your life now. That's a practical exercise. Now, the Power Life script will do that for you. And I know you were on our Club Achieve this morning when we were reading, and I was talking about that. That's definitely something that you can do. That's a practical exercise. And as you heard me say this morning, Alina, it's the most powerful tool I've ever used to manifest everything in my life. I've used it to manifest my husband. I've used it to manifest our waterfront properties, manifest cars, trips, business, clients. Roddy, I manifested him into the business, like what a gift he is. I always tell him all the time how valuable he is, how much I appreciate him. And I'm sure Roddy would tell you that he feels appreciated because I appreciate him. I tell him every day how much I appreciate him because I do. He loves serving people. He's like me. I love serving people. He loves these materials too. I mean, he was a student of mine, actually. He was in one of my programs years ago. That's how I met him. And I've known him for years and years. So when I was looking to add a person to our business and his name came to me, I was like, oh my goodness, yes, because I knew his character. I knew his heart. So when you're aligned with what you desire, and it's really what we're talking about here today, which is not necessarily an easy thing to do. It can be challenging, especially if everything is unlike it, like the question that Regina asked. I know how challenging that can be. Like when I think back to when I had made that decision to purchase a home and didn't have the money, it was like an overwhelming feeling of fear that I was dealing with at the time. Hello, my consciousness just directed me to 3 years ago when I was laying in a hospital bed. I'd been diagnosed with metastatic cancer and I was dying. I thought it was the treatments was killing me. It was killing me. I was so sick. I couldn't even walk. I had bought a wheelchair because I was too weak to walk. I was hospitalized. They put a stomach tube in me. I couldn't eat. I wasn't eating. I was completely dehydrated. And I knew what I needed to do. I knew I had to program my mind to be in a healthy body. Was it easy? Hell no. It was a hell. It was a version of hell. That's what it was. It really was a version of hell. I'm not going to deny it. It was. But thank God I know enough and knew enough what to do, right? It's like adversity is just part of this life experience. We're going to have it. We're going to experience it. There's hills, there's valleys, there's good times, there's bad times. We got to deal with it, right? We got to come up stronger. We got to allow these events or experiences to fuel us. We can invite them to be the reason that we're making the change in our life, right? It's like our darkest moments can become our greatest experiences, our greatest life experiences. When I went through a divorce, it was really, really a challenge. Going through I got married thinking I'm married for life. I mean, we walked down an aisle, at a church in front of God. I mean, we did the whole thing. And to me, that was a sacred vow. And when it was unraveling, I felt like a failure. It was hard. It was a really hard time, but I knew that, okay, I can't reside there. I can't stay in that energy. I got to rebuild my life. I got to get out and make it happen again. And it was at the time I didn't have any money and I wanted to have a home for my son and I. And I thought, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it happen. That's what determination will do, right? How many of you are feeling really determined to make some real great changes in your life? Yes. Okay. Type in the chat box if you're, because I can't see everybody's, yeah, kill the cancer, save the patient. I like that, Eva. That's good. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, good. All right. Wonderful. Oui, says Lynn. Okay, good. Get a little French in there. Perfect. Okay. I love you guys. I really love serving. I'm so happy that you're here today. This really makes a difference. I'm going to go back to my presentation. I got to open it again because I closed it earlier. So let me close that one. And then I'm going to go back to the one that I created for us today for our Ready to Take Control. We still have about half an hour, so if you have additional questions, you can certainly ask. I'm happy to address them. Okay, so we were at this point in our slides. Oh, somebody has a question there. I just noticed. Uh, Acting them. I'm afraid of this. What if I couldn't? If it is difficult, okay. Here's what I love that you've asked that question. I really do, Palesh. And I think it's important to acknowledge this before we even move on to the next part, because it's something that, sometimes people aren't willing to say what's really going on within, right? And I think it's important to understand what is really going on within from a point of view of having the awareness, right? It's like if you go to a doctor and you're looking to get something fixed or to heal something, then they want to determine what's wrong, right? Like, well, what's wrong with you? Where's the pain? And so they're going to ask questions that are going to lead to what is the problem that we need solved, right? So if we think about, I'm afraid of this, what if I couldn't? What if I fail? What if it's difficult? Here's what I would suggest. When that comes up, it is a fear-based kind of thinking and feeling that is destructive for sure. And so when you have those experiences, just notice that they're there. Now, this is called welcoming, right? You welcome them by saying, okay, I recognize that you're here and that this is not going to serve me. That kind of thinking, those kinds of thoughts, those kinds of feelings are destructive. Like if I'm worried that I'm going to be dissatisfied, or I'm worried that it's going to be difficult, or I'm worried that I'm going to fail, likely you will, right? It's like that statement, the thing I fear has come to greet me, right? You attract it. If you're thinking about this isn't going to work out, this is going to be worse than it was before, you attract those scenarios. So it's not that that's not going to happen. You simply want to be aware when it does so that you can snap out of it, right? Like snap out of it. Snap out of it. When I was a little girl, if I was in a bad mood or whatever, my mommy used to say, snap out of it, snap out of it. And, it's just as simple as snap out of it? Yeah. Or she would see us moping around the home and she would say, go outside and play, like go do something, right? And so that's what you want to do. Like when you notice that that emotion is there, like, what if I fail? Then immediately just say, okay, is that going to serve me? Not likely. Definitely not. Actually, not likely. Definitely not. Okay, so what do I need to believe? This is a great question to ask yourself. And I would suggest write this down. What do I need to believe in order to produce the results that I desire? What do I need to believe right now in order to produce the results that I desire? I need to believe that it's working. I need to believe that I am a success. I need to believe that this is done. It is done. It is done. I created a meditation for the moment of creation. And at the end of it, that's what I say. It is done. It is done. It is done. We're going to be giving that away for early purchasers of the book. We'll let you guys know about that when it's done. But I created that meditation for myself. I created it because I wanted to try it, right? And oh my God, I love it. I really, really love it. I wrote the script based on the book. Then I recorded it, put some nice piano music to it, and I listen to it every single day. I listen to it every single day. It is done. It's already done. That's not all it says, but that's how I end the meditation. That it is done. So imagine it is done. Just go to that place. Or here, I'll show you another the question that's on here. Now that my dream is fulfilled, how do I feel? You want to go to that place. Now that my dream is fulfilled, how do I feel? Right? Okay, it looks like we're getting more questions. So I'm going to keep answering questions. Is that okay, Roddy? Roddy's the boss.
It sounds absolutely wonderful. And I think all the questions, Peggy, that we're seeing coming in, it's all very much on alignment and getting into alignment. And if I was to ask everybody on this call just now, and you don't have to answer it, but what is your resistance level, if you like? And we talked about that a lot too. We've talked about that in a number of sessions. Is it a perfect, like, is it low or is it high? And again, it's not to judge it, it just is. So if you're asking questions like, how do I get into alignment? And what if something, I don't have the money, or I'm worried about what my partner will say, or um, all these paradigms, which again are just a natural part of growth. It is what it is, but you are demonstrating a lack of alignment, and you're also demonstrating a lot of ignorance. And again, as Peggy would say, ignorance, i.e., not knowing. And again, that's perfectly fine. But one thing I would suggest, and again, I'm not just saying this to sell you, I'm saying this to help you. The Mind Conditioning Mastery Program is very much an all-in-one program that is designed to give you the support, the tools, the resources, the mastermind kind of sessions, if you like, where you're not just on these free events, you're actually on with Peggy on a call like this. You can ask her questions, you can get help, you'll get videos sent to you twice a week. So again, it's all about alignment and all about getting you into that feeling state of, wow, if that goal was already manifested, how would I feel? And you can answer that question just now. I would imagine it feels amazing. That's what the program's all about. It's all about, designed about keeping you in that state of having your wish fulfilled already right here, right now. So just imagine being in that perfect state of alignment, a perfect 10. And without rambling on too much, we've had people in that program who have come on with a lot of resistance. Like, when I think some of the students that we've had, they've gone through the 90 days and they've come out like a different person. So we're in January just now. Imagine where you could be in 90 days if you just followed that program that Peggy is talking about. You just became a sponge for it and you studied it like a scientist. I am personally convinced, and I'm not just saying this either, but I'm absolutely convinced you would come out a completely different person. So take a look at the Mind Conditioning Mastery Program. Say it's designed for you and your growth. We'd love to have you in it. If you've got any questions or anything at all, please do let us know. But pretty much everything that you're answering in that chat box just now is in that program, and it's designed in a way where it's perfect, as in it's designed to be easy to follow, and very much easy to get results if you're prepared to do the work and you've got the desire. So I just wanted to chip that in as well too, because clearly there's a limited amount of time, and Peggy can only answer so many questions today, as much as we love the questions, and please keep them coming in. But I do want to make you aware the Mind Conditioning Mastery Program is very much the one if these kind of doubts and worries and fears and paradigms are coming in. Thanks, Peggy.
All right, Roddy, I love that. I really appreciate you sharing that as well. Obviously, Roddy's very passionate about it. There's a program that we had created not that long ago, and we've been very blessed to have people go through it. And Roddy's right, like, the transformation has been incredible. And one of the things that Roddy had just said to you is that you could find yourself being a completely different person. But the truth is, that's what I feel like. I feel like a completely different person to who I am today, to who I was a year ago, or definitely a number of years ago when I started studying the materials. And that only comes because of the continuous study and the application. Like, I like what Jill wrote in the chat box a little earlier. She said, I have to admit, I was, I've been struggling, but this webinar is really helping. And just imagine if you were 90 days with me, where we went through like a dozen classes, very valuable, all about conditioning your mind, with 24 video lessons included. And twice a month we have open Q&A calls. In fact, we have one tomorrow. So anyone that joins us today will be able to get on that class tomorrow as well. It's hugely valuable. I mean, it can change your life. When I think about what these teachings have done for my life, in every way that it's touched my life, and not only mine, but many, many people. In fact, in the presentation, one of the things that I had were some examples of people that did take action And I just want to share some of those with you, and then we'll go back to addressing some questions as well, because I know there are still a number of people that have some questions, and kind of like what Roddy said here is that we're the answer could be similar based on what the questions are, but if they're ultimately about alignment, it comes down to believing that you already have what you desire. So Nana Jakura was a client that I was blessed to serve, and she said working with me has been a game changer. And that's what I want to do for you, is help you, be a game changer in a positive way. The strategies are not only practical but also profoundly effective, and that's important. And I've seen a significant shift in my mindset in business trajectory since implementing her teachings. Like, I remember working with a cardiologist from LA, and she had written an endorsement. It's somewhere on our website that she signed up for private mentoring, and she said it's worth like 10 times what she paid. I work with Dean Graziosi. He was a client of mine, and he said that my services are worth 100 times what he paid to work with me as well. Pamela Charles said that it provided her with the clarity and confidence she needed to pursue her passion for writing. And she got step-by-step guidance so that the process didn't feel daunting, and she felt achievable, and she did, achieve that. Dr. UC, he's another medical doctor that I worked with from the Canary Islands, and he tripled his income within a year. And he said, the transformation I've experienced under Peggy's guidance is nothing short of remarkable. Her deep understanding of human potential and her ability to convey complex concepts simply have helped me unlock new levels of success. You see, it was already there, just like it is with you. The potential is already there. I just want to draw it out. I want to help you recognize it and tap into it. Rachel, a lovely client that I served, and woman who's become a friend now, she said she struggled with self-doubt and a lack of direction. And she said that through the support, she pivoted her journey for self-empowerment and achieving in dreams. In fact, she sent me an email or a text recently saying that her and her wonderful husband, Chris, were just moving into their beautiful home, which was a goal that they had set for a while. Lennox was another gentleman who increased his income. And he said, I'm a master at turning aspirations into reality, and that the mentorship equipped him with the tools and mindset to not only envision his goals, but also to execute them effectively. And that was part of the reason why I put in the 4 hours of private mentoring as a bonus, an incentive for the next 10 days. And because you could actually sign up for private mentoring, but you'll pay more. And we're actually increasing the private mentoring fees in February. So, it's now, like, it's absolutely now. But the difference between all of the people that I'm blessed to share, and I believe we have hundreds, if not thousands, of testimonials of people. And in fact, they're so scattered everywhere. We need to put them into a vault or something somewhere where we can collect them, and so that we can share them with you, because I know other people's stories, other people that transition their own life or move from struggle to success. I remember a gentleman, Tom, I worked with one time, who 10 times his income in a relatively short period of time as well. But that's what they did. They moved into action, just like I did with See Thin, Be Thin. It was an idea 10 days ago, but all of these books were once just an idea. The Savvy Wisdom Trilogy, which is a fiction series that I wrote. I had never written fiction before, but I knew enough, to use my mind to produce a phenomenal result. And now that I've signed an agreement, it's being made into a movie. In fact, I was told they're starting to film this year, and the movie is going to be released in February 2026. And so all of these were just once an idea that was acted upon. None of that would have happened unless I acted upon the ideas. So there's no excuse. Like, it's like Roddy had mentioned a moment ago, like maybe lack of funds might be something that you're thinking is the reason. That's just an excuse. And you have to simply ask yourself this question: do I want it? Do I want it? Because I know that if you want something, you'll find a way. You will absolutely find a way. I remember Bob Proctor used to say on stage, he says that, when people want something, they will move mountains. He said, just look at your home and all the things that you have in your life. Like, you wanted it, right? You may not have known how you're going to do it, but you made it happen. You made it happen. So there's no excuse. Excuses just come from paradigms. There's endless opportunities that are awaiting you. There's $1 trillion industry. I've literally helped clients generate millions of dollars. I've generated millions of dollars myself consistently for years and years and years. And that was the reason why I created Author Revenue Engine. So check it out and, really, make sure that this feels like the right thing for you. And then if you're not sure, which program's right for you, should I do mind conditioning mastery? Should I do private mentoring only? Should I do the author revenue engine? Or do I have something else that might help? Book a call, because both Roger and Kayla are happy to meet with you. In fact, when you click on that link that says book a call, you'll end up over on a page, and this is the page here. And this is where I'm going to share this with you so that you can see it, where you'll see a picture of Roger and Kayla. Roger's our newest member to the Dynamic Destinies team. I'm going to bring him on in a moment so you can meet him. He calls himself the Success Navigator. I love that. He is there to guide you. It's a free call that you can schedule with him. And he's been in this business, he's been in this study for a long time, almost as long as I have. In fact, it's rare that I meet someone who's been studying as long as I have, but Roger's one of those people, and he loves being of service. And we love having him. He is a tremendous asset to our team. Kayla's also fully available to schedule a call with you. Remember, those calls are free. It's no charge, but please show up if you book a call with them. All right, let's go to the questions, because I know online premier party. All right, good stuff. Okay, let's go to the questions okay, so Julie says, people call me a dreamer and they think I'm crazy. How would I respond? If someone said that to me, I would say, absolutely, absolutely, I'm a dreamer. And I love being a dreamer. The dreamers are the ones that, we hear about in the history books, we see about in the documentaries, and we read about as well. A dreamer is a beautiful place to be. This world was created by dreamers. Like the laptop that I'm working on right now was created by a dreamer, Stephen Jobs, right? Big time dreamer. I'd be celebrating being a dreamer. I love that. Oh, Kayla said that Jennifer just registered. All right, Jennifer. Well, I look forward to having you in the program. Congratulations. That's awesome. She made, as Kayla talked about earlier, a committed decision. Okay, great. Okay, here's a question here by Awatif. Does the law of assumption work with the goal of changing living location to my dream city, even though I have no clue how I could manifest it? Yes. There, that was an easy one. Absolutely is the answer to that one. Okay, Diane says, there's so much I want to accomplish. Love that, Diane. I love that about you. But I feel completely overwhelmed, and it seems to make me just do nothing. As a result, seems so far out of reach. How do I get over this? Such a great question. I really, really love Diane's question. And I love it because it's honest, right? It's so important to be honest, not stay there, because I certainly don't want anyone to stay there, stay in overwhelm. But it's important to know where you are so you know how to get to where you want to go, or so that you have a good understanding of where you want to go. And so I love that there's a lot that you want to accomplish. So what I would do is, first of all, I have all my goals written out and I read all my goals every single day. But there's one particular goal that's definitely what I call a stretch goal. And it's a goal that I'm working on right now and I'm very, very excited about. So what I would suggest is, if you're noticing that there's an aspect of what's going on within you, meaning that you're feeling overwhelmed, and you recognize that that's, counterproductive, it's not going to serve you, what's the opposite of that? Relaxed, right? So choose to be relaxed. Get into practices that cause you or invite in more of a relaxed feeling. This is what meditation will do for you as well. This is what guided visualization will do as well. This is also what your Power Life script will do for you. You reprogram your subconscious mind knowing that you're very calm, you're very relaxed, you get things done. So those are some suggestions. Another suggestion is to get an accountability partner. Accountability partner, now, if you work with them effectively, can be a great way to get things done. So I have an accountability partner. Her name is Ariel Ford. Actually, I have two. It's Brian Proctor and Ariel Ford. And I've been working with Ariel for 20 some odd years now. I met her at a conference actually in 2002. We became friends, and she lives in San Diego. I live in Ottawa, Ontario. We don't even live in the same country. But every Sunday, every single Sunday, bar none, we send each other an email. And it starts with, these are the things that I have easily accomplished this week. And make a list. And it's not a big list. It could be 7 things on there. And it could be something like, easily generate X in profitable revenue this week. Don't even have to know how you're going to happen. Set the intentions, right? You set some goals. It's like you're setting your weekly accomplishments. And then at the bottom of the email, we paste what we said we were going to do last week and we do an update. Never any judgment. It's all about awareness. And like, for example, I'm going to record X number of classes this week. That means I'm focused on it. So what I do is I create my accomplishment list. I send it to my accomplishment partners, and then I go into my agenda and I schedule things in, like development work or meetings or contact this person or whatever. And that's spread out throughout my entire week. I also do the same thing at the beginning of the month, setting the intentions for that month. And so what you're doing is you're working from intentions and you're being very accomplishment oriented. But all the while, you want to be easy on yourself. All right, easy on yourself. You do not want to be judgmental of yourself, and you certainly don't want to be judgmental of your accountability partner either. And just invite in more calm. Like a couple of years ago, I decided to make the theme for my year relax, just be more relaxed. And that's when I changed my statements. I'm relaxed in the knowing instead of I'm happy and grateful. I'm relaxed in the knowing that this is done. Like my goal card, it now says I'm relaxed in the knowing that it is already done. And so I have a sign over there on the wall. You don't see it in my office here, and it says relax. Right, relax. So just focus on being more relaxed. I started meditating regularly, and now I meditate every single day. And it just really is like Dr. Joseph Murphy said this, it is the quiet mind that gets things done. There's a whole chapter in where's the book here? As a Man Thinketh. At the end of this book, there's an entire chapter called Serenity. And I remember this is an old classic version of the book. And Bob used to suggest to people to read that chapter for 90 days, the chapter on serenity. This is a very, very old version of the book. I think this one was published I don't know when it was published. I don't even know if the year is in here, but it's a very, very old classic version. Anyways, it's the quiet mind that will get things done. So it may even sound like counterproductive to be more relaxed, but it helps you be more creative and it helps you connect emotionally with what you desire as well. Okay, Richard said, I made a decision 3 days ago that now I realize was a sabotage. How do you transform it now? Change your mind, change your mind, change your mind. You can change direction. If you don't like where you're going, change direction. This is one of the great gifts we've been given, the gift of choice. If you don't like where you're going, you can choose to change direction. And speaking of that, I'm going to bring in Roger right now so you guys can meet him. And I'm also going to bring in Kayla and Roddy if they're open to it. Oh, where did Kayla go? I think Kayla's having some challenges with her internet today. The power keeps going out where she is, so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to bring her in for today because she's experiencing some power challenges. But we do have Roger here. So Roger, you can unmute your line. Welcome, welcome.
Thanks, Peggy. I appreciate it. I'm grateful to be here, and I am willing to help anybody. I'd love to hear where you are in your journey right now, and what I can do to help you get there. And whether it's one of Peggy's programs or whatever. So the one thing that I found when I was a client that we'd get through a course and I always just felt so optimistic, like my goals were within reach when I was in one of your courses. Whenever, it might have been over, the time was over for that class. It wasn't the same. And so I know that was a big thing. You were like my accountability partner and kept me going. And I always just felt very optimistic when I was with you. Another thing too that I that I just kind of thought of, talking about imagining what it would be like when what you want, you've already got that in your possession. And I don't know if anybody watched the national championship here in the States last night. Ohio State played against Notre Dame, and Ohio State's coach, and I'm not a fan really of either team. But I love watching the sport. And Ohio State's coach really last year, after the season was over with, they lost to Michigan, which is a big rival of Ohio State. And I mean, after that game, Michigan went on to win the national championship last year, and the alumni for Ohio State were just calling for Ryan Day, the football coach, to be replaced. And so they didn't do anything. They gave him another opportunity this year, and they were off to a great start, very highly rated, highly ranked, and they lost again to Michigan, and at home in Ohio State Stadium. And it was just like, oh my gosh, how bad it can't get any worse for him. Um, and so it was amazing. For some way, somehow, they persevered through and they won the next four football games in the playoffs. And last night, Ohio State and Ryan Day won the national championship. And I thought to myself as I was watching it, the monkey is off his back.
Yeah.
Imagine what it would be like if you were him and that monkey was off. He's already accomplished what he set out to do and what he dreamed to do. And I just thought, if I could get myself in that mental state, it would just be a great place to be. I'm already there. I already have what I want. So anyway, that's it. I,
Yeah.
I'd love to help and talk to anybody. Glad to
Love
help you
it.
whenever I can.
Oh my God, I got goosebumps. I love it. I love your spirit. I'm so grateful that we attracted you and you attracted us
Grateful for the
into our
opportunity.
lives. That game was on here in our home as well. And it was maybe a bit of a surprise, in some ways. I think a lot of people maybe thought Notre Dame was gonna win it. But my husband was also talking about the NFL game with Buffalo on the weekend, and they did win, and they were playing at home, and the weather wasn't the best. I can't believe those fans sat in the stands with that cold weather, but they did. But Denny was telling me, he says, Buffalo was up. They're going to play Kansas next, right? And he says Buffalo was up against Kansas, you know, and whenever they were not in the regular season, and they beat them like 5 times or something like that. But whenever they've been into a championship game or when they get into the finals, they lose. And so Denny was telling me that, and he goes, "Why do you think that happens?" And it's like, it's what's going on here. That's what happens. They feel like it's like, okay, so it's more pressure, but where does pressure come from? Right? It comes from within. What if they're more relaxed? Now we know Kansas City Chiefs, they're used to winning, like they've been conditioned. There's actually a great Netflix series. You've probably seen it, Roger, on Netflix, about football, about quarterbacks, about the quarterbacks.
Yes.
And I love stories about sports, and I love that my husband is so into sports because it's an example of going for, your dream, and going for what you want. There's another movie we watched the other day. It's brand new. It came out on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix or Prime. I'm pretty sure it's Netflix, called Unstoppable. It's based on a true story. Have you seen it, Roger?
No,
No?
there's one Unstoppable that I saw many years ago in the theater, but I think this is a different one.
Yeah. Hey, good idea, Eva. She wrote, they should hire you to consult Dr. Peg. I like that idea, Eva. Very good. Very good idea. Anyways, this movie Unstoppable is based on a true story, and it's about a young man who had one leg. He was born with one leg, and he was a wrestler. and he wanted to go to he wanted to go to Iowa. I think it was Iowa, because Iowa had, a team, a wrestling team that had won, like they had, I don't know, 34 champions or some extraordinary number. But he didn't want to be far from his home, and he decided to go. I think he was in Arizona, and he was up against, and he was very, very concerned that he was going to be up against this competitor from that university. And he ended up having to fight against him. I won't say anymore. You have to watch the movie. It's a documentary, but inspired by real life events. It's like the underdog. I mean, we cheer for the underdog, right? And, in some ways, I feel like that's what I was, an underdog, and there may be times in your life where you feel like an underdog, where nothing is there, nothing is lining up the way you want it to line up. And it's like, I feel like I've been doing everything right. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've heard that as well. When I used to be speaking at all of Bob Proctor's events, and people would come up to me and they'd say, I've done everything right, and my goal's not here. And it's like, I understand, I get it. It can feel like that. It can certainly feel like that. But it could be that they haven't necessarily been doing everything right, that they're more off than they are on. They're not consistently aligned, which is really it's not that you're going to be aligned all the time. You're going to be aligned most of the time. And that's what you want to strive for, is to be aligned most of the time. That's why mind conditioning mastery was created, to help that. Or it also could be, it's just the timing. It's just the timing. And you got to accept it and don't let go, right? You just don't let go. You don't let go of the goal. There's another series. I do love television and movies, by the way, you can probably tell. But when I was doing the Hollywood Manifest event last year with Phil Goldfine, who's a very close friend of mine from Los Angeles, and fortunately his house did not burn down. By the way, he's 2 streets away from where the fire stopped, or where they put the fire out. Anyways, last year we were at one of our events, and he had suggested to the people that we were serving to watch a series called Hacks, Hacks. It's on Crave. And I hadn't watched it, but I remember Phil talking about it, and I decided to watch the show. And this might be a little bit of a spoiler alert for anyone that decides to get into this series, but it's 3 seasons. There's like 8, 9, 10 episodes in each season. And it's about a comedian. And it's made up. I mean, it's a made up story. Jean Smart plays the comedian. She's phenomenal. I think she does a great job in her role. And there's no denying that she has a goal. And the goal is to be a host of a late night talk show. And at one point in her life, and this is based on the character, she was doing a pilot as the first female host of a late night talk show. And it was one of the most successful, talk shows ever viewed when she did the pilot. But her whole world unraveled after that show, because her husband ran off with her sister, and her husband's house burnt down, and people were blaming her, saying she did it. She didn't, but she put it in her comedy routine. Anyways, all throughout the show, she's got this goal, and the goal is to be a talk show host. And finally, she gets to a point where she's got the chance. She's got the opportunity. So she goes and finds the original producer, director, or whatever he was. His name was Bill Tiff or Giff or some funny name. It was a funny name. And she says to him, she says, I just want to know, why did you cancel the show after I did the pilot? Like, wasn't I good enough? Because now she's insecure, right? She's feeling like a little sheepish, like, am I going to sabotage this again? And he says, you are undeniably the best host we've ever had. That pilot was the most watched show we've ever had. And he said it just were the circumstances at the time. Like what was happening in her life, the studio didn't want to be associated with that. And that's why. But now she's given, I think, season 4, she's going to have her own talk show, and it goes into that. But a good message in there. My husband and I were talking about that the other night. Like, I love the messages that are in these documentaries. I love the message of what, Roger, you're talking about with the, coach, of the team, like, this is a job for them. They got to be working on this, right? And the players too, like, they got to see themselves. Like, if you think about the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback, what's his name again? Why am I missing his name? Holmes.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes. He, that guy's got an incredible, like, laser focus. And I mentioned earlier about that series on, you got to go watch it. It is good, right? Because these are people that strive to be the best version of who they are. That's what we want to help you guys with. We want you to be the best version of who you are. That ability for you to turn your results around, what you talked about in the beginning of this call, where you're talking about your challenges, what you were dealing with, or whatever, you can turn that around. You can change that. You can get yourself in a position for phenomenal success, and there's no end. There's absolutely no end to where this can go. So I want to thank you for trusting us and being here with us today. I want to thank Roddy as well. I mean, this man works tirelessly. He lives in Scotland. It's late in the evening. He's still got to put together the recording and get it out to everyone as well. He's such a gift for all of us. I appreciate you, Roddy. Thank you so much for everything that you do. And thank you, Roger. I'm so grateful that you chose to join us and be a part of our team. Thank Kayla as well. I know she's probably without power right now. Seems to be having little challenges with that. But nonetheless, guys, it's been a pleasure to serve you today. Book a call with Roger. He's happy to meet with you, happy to help you. And Jennifer, congratulations for joining the program. I look forward to working with you as well. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.